How you get like that? How the whole team go flex like? How the whole phone take a jet like? How the thing go flex like? How you get like that? How the whole team go flex like that? How you fly a jet like that? How you be on the road when the feds like that? And the feds go hard, so we gotta hit the gas when we see them cars. Then we can't go back, won't see them bars. Locked in the gym, now we them stars. Now we locked.
Hey yo, what up, squad? Welcome back to HOODROK Entertainment, bro. Realest, dopest, most active reaction channel on YouTube. Yo, we're not touching down anyway. We're tapping them with some top now. Look, I mentioned in a few videos that I did a little bit of kickboxing back in the days in my teenage years, right? Spent 6 years in the ring, bro. Never went professional. Had a whole bunch of had a whole bunch of amateur fights, bro. You know what I mean? Nothing great, but y'all told me, yo, check out Buakaw. Now I've heard of Buakaw, but I ain't never seen him fight or anything like that. I didn't realize the hype around it and around him until y'all niggas was telling me. You know what I mean? So yo, we're gonna get into this. Don't forget, run the numbers up on this, bro. You might have noticed that today I was just doing a whole bunch of sports. I'm trying to get the sports playlist up there, bro. So for the next few weekends, we're gonna be touching down or tapping in with the sports. Alright, we'll be getting a whole bunch of the sports out the way. So if there's anything that you want me to react to, no matter what it is, bro, no matter what type of sports, drop it in the comment section. If there's some music, drop it in the comment section. Or y'all niggas can get at me on Instagram, right? So yo, let's get into this, bro. Dying to see this. I'm dying to see this. Let's see what's up.
Buakaw is a Muay Thai legend, known for his insane power, speed, aggression, and relentless pressure.
Damn!
Insane power,
shit.
speed, aggression, and relentless pressure. But the thing that stuck out to me immediately after viewing multiple fights was Buakaw's insane ring IQ. In other words, his ability to adapt his strategy, his style, and his techniques in order to dominate an opponent. Studying how Buakaw does this should help serve as a template for practitioners of any style or discipline. Let's begin by looking at how Buakaw blends techniques from boxing into his base style of Muay Thai. Many fighters who try to incorporate an additional discipline into their original martial art end up awkwardly switching from one to the other, almost like tagging in another character in a video game. Buakaw takes the opposite approach, maintaining his stance and guard and slipping in a few Western techniques here or there, only when it makes complete sense to do so. In other words, maybe 1 or 2 movements at the most out of a 5-movement combination will stray from traditional Muay Thai techniques.
His front kicks are crazy, bro. The power he generates through those, bro, it's madness.
The most obvious deviation Buakaw uses is to weave from side to side in order to avoid punches and increase the power of his own.
Oh shit. Oh, good night, bro. You see the way he fell, bro? You see how it's like he got hit, and then like 5 seconds, and then like a couple seconds later, he's like, hold on, did that hit me?
Shit! Hey, Kevin! Hey, he just hit me twice. Yes, he did. Are you sure it was him? It's only y'all two out here, Dad. Ain't nobody outside here with y'all.
Boom. Boom. Hang on.
He'll also incorporate slips and pull counters with a far more Western flavor.
Bro.
Buakaw uses this sparingly, when he is either too close to worry about kicks or knees, or when his opponent is too committed to his own punch to immediately threaten them. As mentioned before, Buakaw's most impressive use of boxing is when he blends it seamlessly with Muay Thai, and here is a brilliant example. Buakaw catches his opponent's teeth, but rather than try to trip him or throw the leg down to set up a superior angle of attack, Buakaw takes a completely unorthodox approach.
Bro, he hooks him with the arm that he caught the kick with.
Buakaw takes a completely unorthodox approach. Noticing that his opponent is trying to punch his way out of the position, Buakaw simply drops his leg, slips the punch, and crosses over a beautiful lead hook with pinpoint precision.
Damn. and it was lights out for him.
Another lesson we can take away from Buakaw is how he consistently targets his opponent's weaknesses, fixating on them with laser-like focus. Because what wins a fight is often not the strike that scores the KO, but the repetitive, consistent strikes used to wear down the opponent over time. Let's look at a simple example before moving on to something more complex.
God damn!
In this fight, Buakaw chose to target his opponent's ribs almost exclusively, perhaps reacting to his competitor's high guard. Since both fighters...
Now that's one thing that that I learned, bro, over the years. You know, it's better to have learned one kick 1,000. It's better to have practiced one kick 1,000 times than to have practiced 1,000 kicks one time. Do you know what I mean? I would rather be able to master and perfect one kick rather than just kind of knowing how to throw a few. You know what I mean?
Fighters are in an orthodox stance with their same side forward. Buakaw's lead leg needs to be the one to connect. Lead leg round kicks are weaker, but Buakaw used a fairly standard loading technique and switch kick to add power.
God damn!
Buakaw's shin battered his opponent's arm every time he did.
Bro, imagine what that would be doing to... Oh my god, bro. I've had some... Like, I played rugby league my whole life, right? And, you know, I did a few years of kickboxing, bro. Like, you know, Thursday nights we'd go kickboxing and stuff when I was a kid. But I'm telling you, bro, like, the kidney shots and the rib shots, they the worst, bro. They the worst, bro.
Did manage to block, leaving it red.
The knockout punch or the knockout kick will knock you out. You might wake up with a headache. You know what I mean? But the kidney shot, the rib shots, you feeling that for days, bro. Facts. I've even been tackled. I've been tackled so hard, bro, that I was feeling it a week later, bro. Oh, God.
Swollen by the first round. And of course, Buakaw's competitor was now overreacted, creating predictable openings elsewhere every time he went to block his painful midsection.
Ah, damn.
Buakaw's opponent attempted to stave off the damage by...
Look at the smile on his face, bro. It's like, come on, bro. I already got you, man, again.
by switching stances. But this only made it easier for Buakaw. Now he required no preparatory movement at all.
Yo,
and
facts.
continued to destroy his competitor's midsection by kicking with his strong side.
God damn. Bruh. 20 up 30.
His competitor once again switched stances during the last minute of the fight, most likely hoping to use his power side to do some last second damage.
Or
But immediately
33 kicks and knees, bro, to the arm or rib area. Damn.
Buakaw went back to attacking with his lean side, and whatever Hail Mary hope his opponent had evaporated as he quickly retreated from every new
Game
attack.
over, bro.
It's a minor but telling example of Buakaw's ability to stick to the game plan, even when presented with the changeup. In this fight, Buakaw's opponent used a common Muay Thai tactic, keeping a light, active lead leg. An active lead leg allows a fighter to more easily check kicks and set up kicks of his own. Buakaw's opponent also switched stances constantly, a great strategy for setting up new angles of attack and loading power into your kicks by changing which side is the power side. But Buakaw shut him down in the first minute of the fight, targeting his heavier rear leg regardless of which stance he was in.
Yeah, because you got no weight on your front leg, so I mean, you're basically putting all your weight on your back leg. You take that out, you drop him, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And that's points, bro. You know what I mean?
This was especially devastating when he shifted backwards, as all of his weight was...
Exactly. So all your weight on that back leg would be painful, bro, because you're just copping a lot of kicks, tenderizing that leg, right? You know, luckily for me, I transitioned into being a personal trainer. I'm a personal trainer now, so I kind of deal with this kind of shit, right? So you've been putting a lot of weight on that back leg, and it's just getting hammered, bro. Every time you go to move back, you'll be slower. Another thing is, because he's hammering the leg that you really push off and shit like that, or the leg that throws a lot of the power kicks, you lose a lot of power in your kicks and shit. You become slower, you become less powerful, you know what I mean?
Was on his new lead leg when Buakaw connected.
Run that
As
back.
all of his weight was on his new lead leg when Buakaw connected. A major downside for fighters who rely on active lead legs and knee blocks is that they are often left immobile,
Yeah, bro.
Vulnerable to follow-ups from feints attacking their lead leg. Once Buakaw had his opponent figured out, it was easy to drive him to the ropes and target anything but the lead leg. His competitor was left trapped in place on one foot, unable to offer much resistance for the remainder of the fight.
Facts.
In this fight, Buakaw noticed the opposite, that his opponent was lead leg heavy. A heavy lead leg allows a fighter to put more power into their punches and creates the base.
Into the back leg, a lot more speed, bro. Right? A lot more speed because your back leg's a lot more loose. So it's a lot, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, boxers will tell you to balance. Boxers will always tell you balance both your legs, you know what I mean? Your style should be a balanced stance, but kickboxers are different because you use a lot of kicks. So one of your legs is usually loose, you know what I mean? It was usually light.
And stability for more head movement, but it also staples the opponent's foot to the ground. Just like a knee block, it leaves a fighter temporarily immobile. In the exact
and you know what's bad about that is when your front leg is when a lot of your weight is relied on your front leg, all it takes is to kick that leg out and throw a punch, bro. Because as soon as you kick that leg out, he'll fall forward. And yo,
opposite way. The major difference between the two is that a heavy lead leg leaves the fighter highly vulnerable to lead leg kicks.
Facts.
In case you haven't noticed by now, Buakaw isn't one to let a weakness go to waste.
See what I mean? How he falls forward. See what I'm saying? Easy meat.
As a quick side note, Buakaw himself tends to keep a light lead leg. But he uses head movement while drop stepping out of his knee blocks in order to remain elusive and take away some of the risks of immobility. We've looked at how Buakaw flawlessly identifies his opponent's weaknesses. But for the last fight, let's look at how Buakaw closed the holes in his own defense after nearly being KO'd in the first round. If Buakaw could be said to have a flaw, it's his over-reliance on the same defensive maneuver over and over again, mainly a lead hand frame combined with the rear hand high guard. This can make any fighter more vulnerable to feints. In this case,
I never noticed it. We've been watching, I didn't notice it.
Get Buakaw to extend his guard, and then connected with the staggering lead hook, sending Buakaw to the canvas. He was able to land the same combination multiple times throughout the fight, and Buakaw was barely able to hold on. Buakaw also got caught multiple times by tight overhands angled around his extended guard. These overhands were predicated off of multiple jabs. But in the second, Buakaw immediately neutralized his opponent's best weapons. The first adjustment he made was to shell up when his opponent threw his cross-feint hook combination, rather than using his leverage guard. This is a simple adjustment, yes, but what matters is that Buakaw was able to identify...
Effective as hell. See the change? See what... Do you see how much that little change... How that little change, rather than blocking like that, you know what I mean? Rather than blocking like that, blocking like this, right? Keeping his hands up. Now, do you see the kind of... The huge effect that has on the results? It might not seem like much, but the results are enormous.
By how he was getting tricked by his opponent, and then take that advantage away from him. The next step was to deal with his opponent's jab, the strike that was setting up most of his offense during the first round. In the first, Buakaw had tried to counter with body kicks, but was getting his foot caught. He had next tried to return jab with his opponent from punching range, but all that had done is create more openings. In the second, Buakaw used his competitor's jabs against him. Rather than circle and jab as he had in the first, he slipped to move in closer, leaving his lead hand extended to stop his opponent's power hand and smother his offense. From there, he landed multiple body shots and kicks. He had effectively placed his competitor into a range that he was not comfortable in, and which Buakaw...
Imagine how demoralizing that'll be, bro. Imagine how demoralizing that'll be. Like you've knocked him down a couple times, you know what I mean? Put him on his ass a couple times in the first round, bro. And this is the best fighter in the world, and you've put him on his ass a couple times. Not only that, every time he's coming in, bro, bam, you're tagging him. bam, you're tagging him. Bam, 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 you're tagging him. You know what I mean? Every time, bro, he's trying to counter with kicks and shit. Bang, you're catching it. Bang, countering and shit. And then all of a sudden, he's figured you out. And everything you're doing now is just, it's not having the same effect, bro. That must be demoralizing and frustrating, bro.
Buakaw himself excelled. Unable to adjust to Buakaw as he had to him, his opponent seemed totally helpless.
I've never had that situation, bro. Well, I never had 11 fights, but I've never had that situation where I was beating a dude down and he come back and fuck me up. You know what I mean?
The remainder of the fight. So far, we've looked at Buakaw's ability to blend new techniques into a traditional base style, his prevalence for identifying and targeting his opponent's vulnerabilities, and how he can alter his own defense mid-fight to come back and claim victory. Now let's take a look at one last element of Buakaw's game, his creativity. Buakaw's able to string together a wide array of vastly
power behind
different
this spinning
complex
elbow, bro.
techniques, each supplementing and setting up the next. Here, he pins his
damn.
opponent's guard to stifle his offense, ducks under his punch, frames off of his opposite shoulder, and lands a beautiful spinning elbow.
Oh,
This
shit.
is absolute insanity, and one incredible display of timing.
This
This is absolute insanity, and lands a beautiful spinning elbow.
bam!
This is absolute insanity, and one incredible display of timing,
Right on
originality,
the fucking
and skill.
bridge.
Buakaw
Wham.
is clearly a one-of-a-kind fighter.
Definitely.
Someone whose
Well, I
strategy
wouldn't
should
know.
be studied by martial artists of all styles and disciplines. Thanks
Damn.
for watching. You can pre-order my upcoming book.
Yo. Animal, bro. He's a killer. He's a killer. Buakaw's a killer. I heard of him many times, bro. I've heard people talk about him. I've heard people say about this is the first time I've ever watched him. Now I've got to go watch his highlights, like his actual highlights, bro. You know what I mean? I've definitely got to go check those out. Bro, the way he was reading that last fighter, bro. Like that last fighter had him, bro. Well, he should have. But the way this dude, bro, the way this dude actually didn't let that round or those 2 rounds overwhelm or overthink his confidence. He knew what he had to do and he come out and he did it, bro. That's what's up. Hey, thanks for tapping in, bro. I appreciate all the support, bro. Keep sending bangers into me, bro. Alright, man. Stay safe, stay dangerous. We out. Peace.